As it is 7 p.m., we'll officially call this meeting to order. If the council has had adequate time to review the minutes from last month's meeting and the claims for payment, I'll entertain a motion.
I will so move. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? None heard, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Open forum. Anyone here for anything not currently on the agenda? No. Moving right along. Senior housing update.
Well, I think that's me. So again, hello council, Chris here. At our last meeting, or maybe the last meeting I attended, I think there was one in between that. We had a discussion about where the senior project in the town of Bird Island stood. And since that meeting, there was some further work that was done and developed and now again passed back out to the council. In your packets, you received neighboring rates of rent and services. You received an accountant's report that would be deemed as an update to the examined forecast. You would also have seen projected rates for the senior living here in Bird Island. You also would have received a budget that kind of lays out the revenues, expenses, and kind of a fill over a period of time and what that looks like. And I believe that is everything. Casey, does that sound about right? Yeah, okay, she printed it and put it in there. Good
A lot of trees right
Yeah,
there.
so I think that is all that would have been completed in that. And so I know one of the significant questions from last time that was deemed to be answered was the additional debt from the USDA and if the project could cover that. And that is a yes with the rent rates that we have projected. And basically the operating expenses that we projected, we feel strong that the operation in itself, once stabilized at 90% occupancy, will be able to cover the debt that it is to take out. Furthermore, there is a comparable senior living organization in Wabasso that is basically made up of the same exact unit model, minus the townhomes. And magically, when this accountant sent this report on Friday, I had my our CFO for Minnewaska run the debt service coverage ratio on Serenity Suites in Wabasso as of May 31st. And lo and behold, the debt service ratio on that current project is 1.64. And if you see in the accountant's report on the out year, I believe 2027 like that, there is a debt service coverage ratio in there of 1.64. So it is no coincidence that once you get to full operations, at the end of the day, you will be able to meet the debt plus put cash in the bank and have a reserve and move forward. The examined forecast does have the townhomes built into that modeling as well. And that kind of answers, I think, the majority of what the questions were kind of when I left this meeting 3 weeks ago, it feels like, something like that, before the 4th of July, and then that week, it was all mumbled, so you don't even know. But that essentially is kind of what I have to present to you, are the packets, and then my verbal report that was given. I would open up essentially to any questions, or if you have anything to add, Gene?
No, I think the only thing I would add is that Susie Peterson and Dawn Mertens and I had a conversation, a Zoom call today. And I guess we talked a little bit about this whole project, and I guess our recommendation would be that we hope that the city issues those bonds. We feel that Chris and Kyle have done a great job. There's always some uncertainty. We have a pretty good contingency. At the last meeting, we were talking that you should maybe issue 700,000 in bonds. We think we could get by easily with 600,000. The other thing is, if we don't use all of the bonds, I just was part of a bond sale in Elbow Lake today, the projected interest rate on those bonds was $8.5 million bond. Kind of a similar deal in that it was not guaranteed by the, it wasn't guaranteed by the city, it was guaranteed by a lease from the county on a law enforcement center, and the bonds came in that had been projected a blended rate of 4.91, they came in at 4.78. So the interest rate was a little bit less than what we thought. And the bonds sold out in a day. I mean, they sold out almost right away when they hit the market. And then I had to sign the paperwork as the executive director of the EDA, even though they filled out right away. They didn't send me the paperwork to sign. Someone's got a speeding ticket getting here today. But I mean, they said they got done at noon and I didn't get to sign it until about 3:34. So anyway, we've been working on this for a long time. And we now, I think, have a path forward. There's always some risk. You have to ask what happens if we don't do it. About 20 years ago when we started this, we were, Jeff, you were, I think, on the council. I think I reported that I'd been at a conference, and one of the things they were encouraging cities to get into was providing for their seniors and having the seniors stay in the town. And it was going to create some jobs, and there's lots of spin-offs in terms of people coming to visit. When they visit, they probably stop at the grocery store or put on gas, go in the hardware store or whatever. So I would hope we could move forward, but it's your decision. The other thing I would like to mention is another thing is that Wabasso, which is a similar sized facility, pays a little over $16,000 a year in real estate taxes. So you're going to get some of those real estate taxes that would help cover the bond. The other thing I'd want to say, if you're $600,000 and say we only use $200,000, then what do you do? Well, there are some prepayment penalties with the bond. So you probably just have to put the money in the bank and hopefully draw about the same amount of interest as the bond is paying, if you could get 4.78. I mean, it would probably be close.
I got a rate on a 12-month CD today for $100,000 and it was 5%.
5%, yeah.
Maybe make a little money on the money.
Yeah, you could probably actually make money, but I don't think you enjoyed looking at that, but at least it beats nothing, which is what it was here a few years ago.
Could one of you guys remind us, some deadlines, some timelines, right? So our contractors, one of them is holding their bid for two more days?
One is holding bid till tonight into tomorrow-ish, and then the other one I believe was July 20th. Does that sound right, Gene? I believe it was July 20th, and those are the two lowest bids. The other, I think there was 4 or 5 total bids. The 3 got thrown out because they were too high, and then these are the 2
Miller
remaining. Miller and Breitbach Construction.
Yeah.
And I think what probably would be, we've been basing kind of most of this going with Breitbach, using the.
Yes.
Yep, the grant totals too from the United States Department of Agriculture reach about $700,000. There's some caveats with that you have to use some prevailing wages within the county. So subcontracting, I don't know who Breitbach has for subcontractors, but there is a possibility that there could be individuals from Renville County that would be in that subcontract list, and that would mean people getting jobs, paying prevailing wage, again, economic development within the county.
And I will make a commitment if needed to handle that Davis Bacon for you. I've handled it a number of times in other communities. And it's quarterly reports. Basically what it is, you go and find out what the prevailing wage is like for a carpenter in Renville County, and then check to make sure they've been paying that. You look at payrolls. So it's a little paperwork, but it's nothing insurmountable.
Wasn't there also something, maybe Tracy, I don't know, or Gene, wasn't there something that in regard to the bonds that if we to your comment earlier about if we only need 200,000 instead of 600, couldn't we, if the council approves it tonight, we approve 600,000, and then if we really only need 200,000, couldn't we didn't have to really take the 600 and,
We don't even
Right.
have to go to the bond council until maybe halfway into the project
So
and
we don't-
say, look, we don't need 600, we need 300, or we need 250. So we don't have to issue them now, we would just let them know that we would be doing it at some point and they would be ready.
but the council we would need to commit.
You would need to
So
commit
that we-
tonight.
Yeah, you need to
Yea or
commit
nay?
into
Yea or nay?
basically the letter to the USDA saying that the city of Bird Island would cover any shortfalls if the project were to have shortfalls, and essentially the USDA would take that and run with it, and then we get to going. It's a lot of paperwork that need to be filled out immediately by a lot of people, but there's no reason that, in theory, 30 days later, we could be in the ground.
Breaking ground.
And I did talk to Carol Iwaji today, and he, in terms of deadlines, he really thinks he needs it for this week. And I told him I'd let him know what happened tonight, because August 1st, it gets into a different revenue cycle apparently, and anything that isn't committed then, would be tough, and then he's got some paperwork, and he needs a little bit of time to do it, so.
Are you comfortable with the 600,000? You made reference to 700,000.
I think we're comfortable with 600. Are you?
Yes, we ran the numbers tighter, and we looked tighter, and we looked as close as possible with a microscope, numerous times, by numerous individuals. And so I would agree that the number is right, and the best part about the number is like Gene said, it doesn't need to come up today. We can go 4 months, 5 months into this, and essentially in those 4 months, you're gonna have pretty much every snake that will fall out of the tree, such as soil conditions and winter conditions then would be budgeted out. And after those two unknowns are taken care of, it should move forward in budget on time, in theory. And there should be no reason that it wouldn't work in that sense.
Yeah, and the gist of your question, you can approve 700 if you wish, just to be safe, but I don't think we need it. Whatever you feel comfortable with, I think 600 is fine.
Tracy, did you happen to look at the numbers to see how this would impact our ratios in regard to, putting another $65,000 or $75,000 payment debt service?
So I was looking at that, like last year they had a 2.5% increase for whatever, and if we were to add the, say, 15-year 600,000, which is about the second highest amount on there per year,
Mhm.
it would have increased if we paid that this year, it would have increased our tax levy by 14% instead of the 2.5%. To kind of give you a little bit closer idea.
Again, like I said, I don't think we'll be using that money.
Because it gives us a pretty good contingency.
Yeah,
by-
it gives us,
Right?
Yeah,
It gives us a pretty good contingency.
very good contingency. Yeah,
So the city secures the 600,000, but it's only withdrawn as it's,
yes, it would be needed. Yeah, like Chris said, 6 months in, if it says, you know what, I think we're gonna have a $200,000 shortfall, we issue $200,000 of bonds, or if you had cash reserves at that time, maybe you don't even want to monkey with the bonds. I don't know, that would be up to you.
Right.
Yeah, the main thing is that we're a little short, and for the USDA to say go, we gotta have something to cover that shortfall on the backside. And that's the main talking point, I guess, of this information home
Yeah.
situation.
But the 14%, that's assuming that we would get zero money. If they're contributing, then that would be a different conversation.
Right, that's based on this year's.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's
Yeah.
assuming that they would pay nothing, we don't see that happening.
Right.
That would be if we had to take down the whole debt,
Right.
which, So I have a question regarding Vivian Hector specifically. What are the this, the facilities that are in both those, do we know what the percentage of filled over at? Are they at running 90%? Do we?
I did not check on the occupancy of both those, and due to COVID, it might have fluctuated, but I can certainly do that. I got the information, I have a friend that works for, St. Francis essentially, that gave me the information. And so I could double check with her. I know from my understanding, all of them run, pretty strong occupancy, be above 70% is what I would call strong occupancy.
Yeah.
And that,
So your cash flow is 70%, right?
our projection does cash flow at 70%, that's correct.
Yeah, the other thing, Jeff, I could tell you from experience in Elbow Lake, they opened one right before COVID, so they had a tough time getting it full. And it's a 24 unit. Elbow Lake has got 1,200, you got 50 or 40 people. Elbow Lake is absolutely full, and they're going to add another 24 units.
Oh.
And I forget the number, 9 or 10 people that were at other towns when Elbow didn't have a facility moved back.
And I can speak that Serenity Suites in Wabasso is full as well today.
So I think, I think we'll be fine, but
And essentially, it's that fill up. It's the fill up that nobody in this room can predict, that mom is gonna move in on Tuesday. And then dad's following on Wednesday, and all of a sudden, boom, you're at 13, 14, where you start cash flow. None of us can predict that, but that's
I mean-
always that unknown that kind of makes you a little leery at the end of the day. But
When we did this, sorry.
no, go ahead,
When
I'm
we did
sorry.
this 20 years ago, and then 15 years ago, and 18 years ago, and we looked at the numbers, at one time, we were at 91, 92% we had to cash flow. I'm way more comfortable with 70%.
yeah,
But remember, we're early on, we were at 90% or better we had to before we cash flow.
yeah,
And that was always a little bit on the scary side.
yeah,
70%, that's a different conversation.
And that's the goal of structuring the pricing, because I feel the same way, that I wanna have, as little occupancy as possible to cash flow, and still have a market rate rent and services to provide to the community, and not be gouging them at $8,000-9,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, because the concern I had when we were at 85 to 90%, they talked about one time, is that means if you have to pay an apartment, you have to do any renovations, anything like that, you're downhill pretty darn quick with one and a half units.
Absolutely,
This changes it a lot.
absolutely.
So what happens tonight at council, the council will say yea or nay? Does Island Living get together tomorrow? Or
the plan would be, there'll be an email
okay,
vote
I
to accept. That would be the plan.
And then we need a letter from Tracy by the end of the day tomorrow, on top of that, and then USDA would move as quick as they could, paperwork comes out, sign, schedule a date to put shovel in ground. And then have, the Island Living people's champagne, as they said they provide.
amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Well, I'll make a motion, I think we should authorize 600,000 and for the purpose of Island.
I'll second.
There is a motion and a second on the table for the city to secure $600,000 in bond for Island Living project. Any further discussion?
Suppose I'll just say, I think everybody knows, but I'm on the Island Living Board. So I don't know if that causes a conflict.
No, because you don't have a financial
Yeah.
interest in it.
I do not.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Great.
Congratulations.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Appreciate it.
Dave's got the backhoe running, so
Yeah.
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I was gonna tell you, I did want to tell you beforehand, I'm gonna make a contribution of $5,000 to the project.
Oh,
Well,
thanks, Gene.
Yeah.
Did you win the Powerball or something?
No.
He's invested $20 a week though.
Actually, I'm gonna make it for 4,900 because that's how much I walked on.
Oh,
thank you, Joe.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got a project long in the works.
Was it just me or was the vote louder than normal? It was like a resounding,
Yes.
yes. I think it was. I think we both, oh, wanted to see this
Here we
move
go.
forward. All right, Splash Island Adventure Park.
All right, so I'm here with just a little update. I just wanted to say thank you again. Did put like a Facebook post out there, but you guys allowed Deb Ringel and Tracy to write that DNR grant, which saved us like 10 years of fundraising. So
I will clarify, Deb pretty much did it all. I cannot take the credit for that other than the fact that I got the news and submitted it. So thank you, Deb.
yes, so thank you for allowing them to do that because that was huge. And also thanks to Dave and Dusty, they came and helped us unload the prettiest like splash pad stuff ever. It was
Shiny and new.
yeah, they did great. Us girls could not have done that. So we appreciated it very much. So just some thank yous. Also from getting the DNR grant, we've done 2 radio interviews and 2 write-ups in some newspapers and like online articles. That's kind of fun. Little stuff for Bird Island. We've had a slight delay with the respect of getting the land into the city name. I think we're super close. Right now, I have like some signed paperwork from both schools that Tracy has now gotten today and that she's gonna send off to the attorney.
I believe that's something the attorney should look at, right? Right. Okay, that's what I thought, so I wanna send it to him first.
So we had to get like formal wording from the surveying, we had to get a survey done and yeah, so that's our next steps. A lot of people have been asking about the timeline and we don't really have like anything concrete yet because we're waiting from the DNR, like they say we have the grant, but like we haven't signed.
We haven't heard anything more than we were selected, and so we're waiting for more information on them, so we know when we can actually start. Until we can't touch the land, so I wanna make sure we don't jeopardize it in the grant money at all and make sure that we're okay, so until I hear more from them. I'm not gonna be one spread.
Just don't touch Tracy right now. And it was kind of fun. I did call the lady that's in charge of the DNR grants and I maybe called her beforehand to see if we got it and she never answered, but then after we got it, she called me back and she said that there were 80 applicants for this DNR grant and they awarded 20 people that are, not 20 people, 20 organizations. So they were at like 36% or something like that. And I talked to someone else and over in Buffalo Lake area, they also got one, I think it was like 250,000. So in Renville County, the DNR grant gave out at least 600,000, which I think is really cool. So excited to share. So we're just waiting on the guidelines. Otherwise, we got someone ready to trim the trees. Dave's ready to do all of his work. We're gonna send out some bids for the plumbing for the building. And then Vortex, as far as I know, is still planning to begin in August. So at least we can get the splash pad built and then we can get the plumbing out of that and that can go to the building, it can go to that stuff, even if we can't get that part done. So, cause the other day after we had gotten our grant, my husband was leaving for work early and I was like, hey, how long does it take to build a 20 by 20 shed? And he just kept walking and he's like, until next year. And I was like, wrong answer.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I'll see if I can get this done. With funding, I think with like the new things that have come with the DNR grant, with the pond, the irrigation system, pumps, whatever might all entail, it's above and beyond me. Ben was on vacation last week, our engineer, so I haven't really connected much with him. I think our funds will still be short, but we'll keep plugging away at that. So, and then the last thing is like the irrigation system. I know we talked about it one other time. Since then, I had talked to like the people at the Baseball Association and Ben, and we really have like 3 options. The original plan for the DNR grant was to hook up and go into the main ball field. After talking with different people, that's gonna be a lot trickier in the respects of we have to get a pump to pump it up to get to the new system, hook into the new system, which kind of sounds messy. And then the second thought was to put it to the JV field, which we could somehow try and, could be a little messy, but not as much, it would still benefit by reusing that water. Or the third option is to talk about putting it to like, there's 2 fields in the track of the, there's 2 baseball fields in the track, and it'd be the south one. And then we could hook it up to there, and maybe potentially something new would happen with that field, or it would just be watered and set up for that irrigation system, so at least the water was being reused, like we had said in our DNR grant. So we need to check for sure, but I don't think we specified what field was being watered in the DNR grant.
I don't recall, we'll have to
Yeah,
make sure that we do whatever it says in there,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was not, it was to a field.
just to water the
Yeah.
baseball fields,
Yeah.
basically.
So I don't know if it's something like we need to look at the next meeting, like look at the costs and stuff, because Ben had to look at all that. Cause if we do certain things, we have to tap into the system, it could get messy. So, and it ultimately comes down to you guys in the baseball association, I'm just gonna be the middle person because I don't want to wreck anything that's already set up, but also it'd be a benefit, you know, to use it in maybe a new field. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Do you guys have any questions on that? No? Any questions? No?
Well,
I don't
speaking of
know.
a new field, when it's my turn, I can, go ahead and, we've had some talks with the Bold softball, and they would love to have us build a varsity softball field behind St. Mary's, behind the hill there. So, but we'll talk about, first of all, my project, and then we'll see if we're gonna continue or how it's gonna work, so.
Did you have anything else to add, Corey, before we?
I just think that, I have to meet with the people at the baseball association and Ben to look at like, what does this look like? How are we gonna get the water to this irrigation system or this spot? How is that gonna look? And so I think it could be tricky. So, I might be coming back and being like, are you guys okay with this? Because yeah. So that's really where, I just wanna make sure you know where we're at. So, yeah, that's all. So, yeah.
What's exciting?
It's so exciting, yeah. So-
And is there action to be taken on this estimate? Or is this just for,
The biggest problem on the manholes is they're 6 weeks out.
If we need to order one for it, the project or not, cause I know there was different talks about how things were gonna get hooked up.
So it really screws up our deadlines already, you know, it's the stuff, conversations that Tracy and I have had that, you know, we can't get going on anything until the DNR grants got it. It's just gonna push things way back. Unless we stick our neck out and order manholes, there's no chance of being done, you know.
Well, Dave, I have a question. Do we not have, useful structure in other places at other times at times?
Absolutely, Jeff.
I think we should, order things for stock is what I think we should do.
Yes, that'd be the good
That's what I
pair.
think we should do.
Any specific sizes or anything?
Size that's on here,
There's a couple different sizes that David
whatever
gave
they
me,
need.
so.
I think we should order them down and we'll talk about it.
and if it's not used in this project, it'll be
That's
stock
what we
and
have.
used somewhere else within a city project, so.
So move.
All right.
I think we should order these for Dave to have on hand for projects.
How many do you want?
Whatever Dave thinks we need. we should
Well,
have.
the deepest stuff needs to go on first up to sanitary. You remember that in front of you here, Tracy's got it, but that's the one that I want to put in first. And this actually goes underneath or next to this water splash pad control that we got. I did talk to Ben Ossett on both of them today, and he concurs that the larger manhole that we're spec'ing out, the 60-inch manhole for the control structures is a smart move. And he concurs that how he designed the 48-inch manhole, we're good to go for specs, so.
And so also, Dave, I think if we get into a crunch for also, we need a product, just like you've done other times, I think that you should talk to your neighbor and citizens, see if they have anything we can borrow till we get other stuff in too.
You say it again, Jim?
I said, as we've done before, I think you should talk to your neighboring cities also if they have anything that we need immediately that we can replace when we get our stuff in.
Okay, there you go, that's a good
We've
idea.
done that with Hector before.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Before.
Yep, that's a good idea. Great idea.
Out of their stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
And then,
replace it.
you know, the shipping is always a thing here, and depending upon what we do with the other item further down the list here, the water, you know, that'll be a part of the manhole order as well. Thank you.
So do we need specific action to accept this particular quote? Or not necessarily, this is for information purposes on how prices run?
That's correct.
Okay.
I would say it's the dollar.
I tell you what, I will authorize purchase of extraneous manhole equipment and stuff up to $10,000. How's that?
You're short.
Am I?
Yeah. Is this one around the six?
You know,
We don't need to
1,600,
be on-
it's 52.
All right, so I'll go 12,000 then. Did I do the numbers right in my head? Yeah.
enough?
12,000.
12,000.
Your second. are you
Yeah, I'll
okay with
second,
that?
yeah,
Thank you, Chris.
that's enough, yeah.
All right, motion and a second on the table to approve stock purchase, manhole and additional equipment up to the cost of $12,000. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Doc, you're up.
Perfect. I'm just looking for some direction. So since we chatted a little bit about, our baseball association has grown immensely in the last year. We've got a lot of the Little League parents involved now and softball. And softball, has inquired about possibly coming over to Bird Island. And we haven't even begun to look at it. The reason I'm here tonight is we're in the process of wanting to put a lion shelter on top of the plaza on the ball field that would go from the concession stand bathroom to the west. We poured the pad last fall, and we're not asking for any money. I just need the okay to do it. We have people that are willing to put it up for free. But we ran into a snag where there needs to be some engineering fees, and I'm not willing to spend $5,000 for a $10,000 lion shelter. So I'm asking for the city to tell me that I don't need it, or if you want it engineered, it's your property. I'd like you to pay for that. I'm not gonna ask people who donate their time and money to pay it to an engineer. I wanna use it as wisely as we can to stretch our dollars as far as we can to continue to do projects. Whether it be for baseball, softball, 212, Little League, whatever, the splash pad. And I do think we need to start to look at a master plan for the whole complex. So that if softball's gonna come over, we've got the splash pad, we got the JV, and we need this water to go somewhere, I think we should maybe unify forces so we're not, well, we need this to go here, you need that to go there. Let's make sure we're synergistic. So just hearing what's going on with the water stuff. So basically, we have the people, we have the money, we have the materials ready to go. I just want to put up a 8-pole stick shed like we did for the Rude Boy. We poured a pad and we put a building up there. There was no engineering. It's been there for 30 years. But that's your call. It's your facility. You own it and you're responsible for it.
So did we get anything from a lawyer? Did you reach out to them and ask them what their opinion was from LCMC?
I reached out to the lead. Did they
I know. And then they say go to the lawyer.
Oh, I did hear back from the lawyer, but when I was talking to Darren about it, his problem was like, so in his code, he knows stick build, he doesn't know, can't do plan review on pole or post frame construction. And so that's why he was requesting the
engineer.
My question would be, who's overseeing the volunteers so that city would be assured that they know what they're doing?
Well, I guess everything we've done down there has been by volunteers. Dave is, he and I have always worked well together. I mean, we built, your bigger problem is you got a 12-foot wall that doesn't have any protection, and kids are climbing and jumping off of this, they're gonna break their necks. That's your liability, not us putting up a shed or it's basically just gonna be, we'll have a back 4-foot-high walls that's steel. It'll be open above that, and it'll just have a roof line top, just like the concession stand does. I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years. I guess I don't really understand, you know, Randy Vogt is a cement person. He did the cement work. Shannon Visser did the cement work. They're contractors. We always chat with Dave, who represents the city as far as how we're doing things. And that's just how I've done it. There's Johnny Lingle had volunteered to basically help build the building. And I mean, the guys who built that wall were Dave, Juba, me, Gunner, Jeff White. I mean, we spent 3 years doing it, and nobody came down from the city. We didn't have any, and if things are gonna change, that's fine. I just need to know what the playing rules are. Cause like, we lost a building. We wanted to put a batting facility, and I had a building that was, the city of Olivia was gonna get rid of. But then we got into this snag. It would have been 40 by 140, and it was free. And we had volunteers to bring it over. It's steel construction beams. It could have been a full year batting facility for softball, baseball. It could have been the new weight room. I mean, the thing is huge, but I'm not gonna deal with red tape. That's just not me. I got enough shit to do, so excuse me, that in my life. I love that field, that's my baby. But I am not gonna sit and go through I'm gonna do it the way I want. I mean, it's been my life's work.
I don't understand why we need to have this engineered. Nothing else is engineered down there, not at all. Huh?
I agree with that.
And I don't get why, I do not understand why, we should just get the whole harmless agreement and be done with it. I mean, unless our insurance company didn't say no, that I could read this.
No.
They didn't say we couldn't do it at all. They didn't say they wouldn't insure us. So I don't know why we wouldn't do it.
I'd like to make a comment on that too. In Doc's history report here, we've always relied on local professionals in their trade to do the best job that they can. That's why it's put together so well. And if that's not enough anymore, that's really gonna hurt the volunteers.
And I'm not saying it's not enough. When you say volunteer, what pops into my head is, you know, anyone, and they may not be educated in what it needs to,
Well,
the
and
thing
that
to be
happened.
done.
I tried to
So-
build the press box, and I started, and then the carpenters tore it apart, and they rebuilt it. And so I learned my lesson. I get to haul the lumber, I don't get to put it together.
I mean, I guess what I would like to see, I think we should do it, but I'd like to see our lawyer tell us why we can't. That's what I would like to see. Because, I mean, that's what the League of Associations asks us to do. Is to verify with the lawyers, there's no reason we can't do this, and we just do the whole harmless agreement between us and Darren and be done with it.
On the same vein, we do have the Weiss building out on the highway has been donated to us. And I think I can get a gentleman to move it for free. And we'll have somebody do whatever we need to put it wherever our city maintenance leader here, the jack of all trades, who can tell me where it should go. And I'm still gonna, if the city's okay with it, I'm gonna go find out who ended up getting that old shed. and I'm gonna see if we can't tell him to donate it to us. And he'll have a tax write-off, and my baseball team will go tear the steel off of it and give it to him. And then we'll have, the REA will bring the steel over, and I mean, it would cost us literally $500,000 to build it, and we're getting it for free. So there's a time and a place. We're not building a skyscraper. And I want it to last. We don't want things to fall apart, and I think our track record has been very good. I mean, that's the jewel of Bird Island right now. And this splash pad, it's gonna make our community better. I mean, right now, that's what's bringing people to town, to go to the restaurant, and buy gas. You know, that field's used all the time, and if we can keep working together like we have, then I'll keep working on trying to get the softball set up so that we have a wonderful field. Or the plan, I already talked to St. Mary's, they're thrilled with it. They wanna kind of move or expand their playground area, and that would give us room to have, that's where the backstop would be back in that corner. But the other thing is then the track is going to probably have to be dissolved. Because for a few reasons. Number one, if you have another field there, there's just nowhere for it to be continuous. And secondly, for liability from the city, eventually someone's gonna hit a ball, a line drive from the varsity field, and it's gonna hit some kid in the head on the Little League field. I wanna plant trees all along there so that there's natural protection. And we are in the we did build a tall backstop on the JV field because the field's a butt, and that isn't working. I mean, the balls still go over, and now we've got a huge tall fence that's leaning like this. That's just not how it's done, but that's what we were told that you wanted, so that's what we did. So REA is gonna come in and probably either bend it forward and put a wooden post, a big one behind it so that it's stable. And those are the type of people we're using. I mean, they built that Patter's Eye for us. That thing you wanna talk about a kite. That thing is 60 by 40 and it hasn't moved an inch in 20 years. So, so I guess I would like to know if we can bring the Weiss building in. Do we have to have engineering to do all that, or?
I don't know, that's already a building built, why would we do that?
I wouldn't know I would. Dave, if somebody was gonna bring a shed in, we would just make sure that it was on not the setback, right?
Yep, you slab.
And slab, so I don't personally think that
And
needs to be engineered.
I don't know if all the council members know, but we do have access to the lot behind the field that was given to us to use if needed, with your authority of what we use on it, of course. So if that's okay, I'm gonna go after this guy and I'm gonna get that building, one way or another. So,
I'm sure you're right about that. I don't know if I was on the council at that time, but I was thinking we designated that as a park. I have that in my head. Maybe it's designated for your use, I don't know, but can we just research that very
Yep.
quickly?
please.
Tracy, just so that we know. I'm sure you're right, but I think we should at least
I did
know,
not so long ago for Gunner, it's in the minutes.
so,
And I did mark it out where
Okay.
it was, the lots of.
Maybe you can help. yeah.
But if we do get that, then what I would like to do is come with an actual plan, and we do have Benjamin, who's very wonderful at drawing schemes up to make it work well, and being a former player, he's very helpful. But just to have that little, I mean, we're talking, I don't know, 6 to 8 posts and a steel roof and a back wall, to engineer that is $5,000. The project total cost is 10. And I just thought that was ridiculous. So,
Yeah, and like I said, Doc, I'd like to hear what the lawyer says about it, I don't know why we do it, so.
Well, you tell me when I can do it so I can get started again. But we do have the State Legion tournament next fall, and I want that place looking, it needs some upgrades.
Yeah.
And I'll get it done, but I just need to be allowed to go ahead.
I think if Tracy reaches out to the attorney and poses the question as soon as she hears back, just pass it on to you and it's a go, it's a go.
So can we
I
Put it in
approve
the motion.
I
tonight
think we-
contingent upon?
I think so.
And,
Come on, we're in the motion.
trying to think of how to word it. Because I think, I want to hear from the attorney, and then we just do the whole harmless to Darren, so. Well, anybody else has some other thoughts on it?
We approved the baseball association contingent on hearing back from the lawyer and getting the, what was it?
Hold harmless agreement?
Hold harmless agreement from Darren, that they can move forward, yeah, that they can move forward with building the requested building,
I would call it a line shelter.
shelter,
Structure.
okay, structure.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second on the table for approval contingent on remarks from the attorney's office. Any further discussion?
I guess the only thing I would say is I think that once you get those remarks, you should put it out to the council, just so okay, we have
Yeah.
a second comments back.
Do you have a copy of the plan? Will they, do they, I guess they maybe don't even need to look at it.
I don't think that's the issue back.
Anything further? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing down there. And I think you're right to come up with a plan with Corey and with everybody involved down there so that we're not taking water this way and then having to bring it back over there.
Well, and we've done that, you know, like we put up a batting tunnel. Well, back in the day, Tommy Smith put it in the parking lot. Well, then that wasn't the right spot, so we put it between the varsity and JV field. Well, that wasn't the right spot. Then we put it on the tennis court. Well, now it's in George Elfring's shed. And there's a lot of man hours and time and effort that was probably wasted that could have been saved if we just sit down and say, okay, what do you need? What can we do to help? And I think Jessica, the head softball coach, she's a go-getter. She'll be a great asset to help.
To that point about the track being dissolved, if that happens, I think there should be some discussion about that, because remember, we've had some discussion here about fixing the track for people to walk. So I think there's a certain number of people that use it for that purpose. And I don't know if I think Dave, you've done a lot of work down there to improve it. I haven't heard any adverse feedback on the track lately. So, but now if we're gonna dissolve it, I think that's just something we just
Well, I think the price,
need to understand.
I think the cost of putting a softball field in it to bring the Bull softball team here and all that, and the other thing that would do, if we were going to do something to that effect, I believe that we should look at Corey's facility and all the other things, and see if we could actually do a walking track, something different, and that would include the cost of that, so I think to Doc's point, I think we should look at that, and then maybe not get rid of that, but that might, it's never been in a great place anyways, because we have fields in the middle of it and all that, so there might be a better spot to do that one.
It might be.
Just to see some type of master plan.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
And I believe we talked about repurposing that water to the big field quite some time ago, and I thought we decided that was probably not the best option.
I think it met with some opposition from a few people that I've heard from.
Yeah.
Last
But-
I heard, I thought it was.
What kind of water, is it
I thought it
salt
was the
water or
JV.
is just regular water?
It's just regular water from the
Well,
splash pad.
I think any way you can reuse it, because we use a lot of water.
It might have a little something extra in it, who knows?
That's okay.
Little fertilizer.
We need fertilizer.
Little ammonia. Just ammonia.
Nitrogen is good for.
Nitrogen.
I think it was the JV field, and I think in the DNR grant, I think it just said a baseball field. I don't think it was specific.
I know we talked
Well,
about the
yeah.
JV field.
The beauty of this is we can put a sprinkling system on, it's gonna need to go to the softball field, because that's one of the reasons they want it moved, is they don't have one. Our JV field already has a sprinkler.
Yeah, we already sprinkled that.
And so is the varsity. So it would be a perfect timing to put together, and Ben's already drawn up a plan of the softball fields. We can use them in the summer for Little League and during the school season for softball, and they'll both fit back to back. And we can put dugouts, scoreboards, the whole 9 yards.
And Ben is also aware of where the drain field lines underneath those proposed softball fields, and they all go right back to where Corey's put your pond. Alrighty, so there's a lot of potential use to recycle it.
Wonderful. Good. Thank you to everybody here.
Thank you, guys.
Moving on, Public Works Maintenance Department report.
I know you guys wanna get out of this, you guys read everything in here, I had a guy come out from the cities, look at, our bad sidewalk downtown, and it sank away and stuff, and they do jacking, their jackers have been around forever and ever, and I told them I wanted to put together to consider it. We also have city curbs that have sunk from the construction thing. I said, with these, how much can you do in a day? You wanna keep it too busy for a day, let's do a day's worth of work out here. Those, that was not included in your packet, Tracy made some copies for a handout. That you guys should have. So if you're at all excited about, instead of knocking out the tripping hazards downtown, and you wanna jack it up, I think now is a good time to look at it. We're already 16 years, 17 years past the project. The ground settled, it's unlikely it's gonna settle to a big degree anymore. And now I feel comfortable jacking. I would not have felt comfortable jacking 10 years ago, but I'm very comfortable jacking right now and hiring these guys instead of knocking it out and.
How many places we have, Dave?
The three big areas downtown that I'm talking about is in front of Learning Funhouse. Had an accident there, went in front of Friends of Bank by the fire hydrant. A lady has tripped there and hurt herself quite bad already too. And then the biggest settlement is between the post office and, where the Legion office is there.
Are they doing that
It's a tricky one.
with the foam?
This big,
Polyfoam?
it's an expanding deal, and this guy gives you a warranty for 5 years.
Oh, really?
In fact, he says, I'm the best in the business, if you're gonna do it, you wanna hire me, I said, well, I wanna present it in front of you guys.
How does that work on the curbs?
The curbs, he did shoot me an email saying how much the curbs were as part of this bid here, and I neglected to bring that amount with you. The curbs I feel better about, because what happened on the curb in almost every case, someone was trying to protect a tree 10, 15 years ago, and that tree is no longer there. It didn't survive the construction, but now I got the big settlement of the curbs. And that they're gonna deteriorate the road if we don't fix them sooner or later. It's not a big thing, but if you don't straighten them out, pull them out, reform. The asphalt, if you jack up the curbs, the asphalt's gonna have a dip in there that has to get, taken care of as well. I just am bringing this stuff to your attention if you wanna consider this, if we wanna do it now, if Tracy can find the money, great, if we wanna budget it for next year. Then
Well, I think the
we're putting
safety
that budget
aspect-
together.
We have to.
I think the safety aspect of the sidewalks isn't necessary no matter what. I think the curbs can wait, and we'd be interested to see how this goes on. But I think this is, I was wondering about that, because I watched on Island Days, several people trip by Friends of the Bank. Because they, you just don't see it. I think, because of safety, we need to do it.
And the county has nothing to do with it? It's not like a right of way?
They don't wanna accept anything but the road.
Okay.
Would this come out of? Come out of water?
What's that?
I'm just trying to think of what budget this, that's what come out of. Or we could just do it on general, I guess. It's really because of the water problem.
Well, it's mostly because of the sewer and water.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
So I wonder if it should come out of that.
Yeah.
Take 50% or 50% sewer or something like that.
I think it should be, because it's really because of that.
Split it between those budgets.
and these are our protected sidewalks that we are under our obligation to maintain.
Yeah, I also moved to do the sidewalks, not those curbs, and I think we should take it out of the water and sewer fund.
So,
Motion
For
and
this year, Jeff, for next year?
I think we need to do it that way.
I think you should do it as soon as possible, yeah. I agree with you.
That's why I'm not worried about the curbs as much, but I am worried about the people downtown. It gives a lot of foot traffic down there, so.
Okay.
So if
Well-
you could get us that quote for the curbs,
Yeah.
just so that we know what we're getting into for those.
Yeah, I'll shoot you guys back an email and clarify all that with them if you're interested. And thanks for your interest for this. I think it's important that we do it too. The other things that people were tripping over is I couldn't believe how many water curb stop shut-offs need maintenance downtown. And we'll be going after those too, right away.
You should just push it back down to you.
Yeah, we're gonna recess them so he can't grab them again for a while. And every year, just so you know, every year it freezes, the sidewalk lifts and it goes down, and they stay up and you just need maintenance, so.
But they're on a slide, if you all don't know, they're on a slide, you should be able to set them down. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get concrete around, the board back down, but they are meant to go on.
Yes, yeah, and I really felt bad, when we were walking in downtown getting ready for it, and I just thought, wow. You know, they either moved quite a bit this year, or I've been missing it, so I really wanna get going on that.
I mean, I think if we had Randy or anybody else pull them up and redo them, we're gonna be close to this cost anyways, and then a lot, even more maybe than we're concrete than anything else. So.
well, there is a motion and a second on the table to prioritize the sidewalk repairs due to tripping hazards. And just say about the curb, hold off on the curb.
Curbs, yeah, for the curb.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried.
The other item on my report is the trees, the amount of trees that we have left to do. The Sunrise Park was on our list to get done, you know, and we ran out of money to do that. That's gonna be, of course, we're out of money, just to remind everybody. So it'll be on top of next year. There are some neighbors that are doing some stuff back there. There's been some hangers and a little frustration that we didn't get that done. Every other tree needs to be thinned out there. It's just so grown over and branches are falling. We've been picking up stuff for a long time. I've got one dead tree up in Sunrise. I don't know if you have any extra parks money at the end of the year after the leaves fall, if we can go chase that, that would be great too. So we got some hazardous hangers that are identified. I think Tread Squib is going to be assisting with some tree removal for the splash pad. And if I can grab him to get my hazardous hangers there that I need to grab, that would be great. So that fund is depleted, and as we talked about last month, so we're probably gonna get okey dokey to do that. And then the other trees that are on there, that staff can do, they were previously identified, we're just gonna keep on plugging away at those, as we have time. If the splash pad gets halted, we'll be cutting down trees with leaves on, otherwise I like doing it in the fall when the leaves are gone, on that's work.
A lot easier to clean up too.
Yeah.
A lot easier to see where to cut.
Yeah.
What about so Sunrise Park is, your only issue is that it needs to be thinned out for maintenance purposes, not for safety purposes?
The trees are too close together, so they're killing each other off right
Understand.
now. Yeah, so it's both,
But do we have a hazard down there, where kids down there?
The Connor McNamara took care of the hanging hazard, last week. He was back there and picked up a whole bunch of stuff. We're always bringing the 1 ton back there and picking up branches, and Gene Naffman does a very good job too. There is one hanger on Gene's tree that we need to go get, but, so it's just too many trees and stuff starts dying off and just Needs to
I
be
think
cleaned out.
I think we need to add a little bit to the budget next year or whatever, or like you said, go after the first thing before we use a lot of money up. If we have to send that out for future, for creep, or I think we should really consider that to be on us next year. But I do not think, in my opinion, that we have a hazard out there, if somebody's getting hurt this summer, that we should ignore it. So,
What's very difficult about back there, because everything's so curvy and not straight through, it's very difficult for me to identify property lines. And, we're just putting my best neighbor hat on and trying to get along with people, is what it is. I do believe that they're all of our city trees, and not the neighbors back there.
Well, let's just make sure we talk to the neighbor before we cut something that might be there and make sure they agree with it that day.
Yeah, they've been in the conversation. And then I got bad news. We had electricity go off in town the other Saturday morning, 4 o'clock. It fried the control panel on our sanitary lift station. The guys warned me last time they were out that the control panel was from 2006 and it's old. And he said, someday you're gonna have, there's not very many of these working yet, then I said, okay, we'll put it in a budget, for whenever. Well, it's fried, and he's bringing a replacement for it.
Is that why I get notified today?
What's that?
Is that why I get notified today?
Yeah. That's why you get notified today. As soon as you can get up here, it's Thursday, so what's happening is Dusty and I go out there, and we have to physically turn the pumps on. To keep the-
I'm surprised I was notified, only because I knew you guys were still on duty, like, I kind of ignored it, because I figured, well, you
That's been going on since Saturday morning, so, and different levels, so we'll figure different alarms. If I don't get to my phone, if I'm on mower, and it just rolls over to the next number, Jeff's or the city office, Tracy got a call today, so Devlin will probably get a call too.
Well, I
I
think
don't know whose numbers are all on.
if that's the case, there, I think you should at least get a cost estimate of what it's gonna cost to replace that.
Yeah.
Because the one he's bringing is a temporary.
Yeah, it came in a lot cheaper than I thought, and I thought it forwarded to Tracy, I didn't print that out, Tracy, did you? I
I
can,
don't recall what
I-
that was.
I can find it here in a
Seeing
second.
it. I know you talked about forwarding it to me, but I don't recall actually seeing it.
Corey, okay, so here it is, for the new controller with the retrofit bezel and all the required parts installed is $3,970. So that's
That's
good.
amazing.
I know you quoted me $10,000 2 years ago, so it's good. The other thing that I asked on Tracy's direction is we're trying to get rid of our landlines and go into cellular, for alarms and stuff. And I asked him, it says, I'm hoping the new controller will be easily adapted for cellular phone use and alarm. The city is wanting to discontinue the landline. He says, yes, it can be. I can help with cellular dialer also if you're looking for one. And I said, please quote it for the next meeting, and I didn't get it back to him, so.
Well, find out what they are, I can also get you a quote on some of that.
Okay. All right, so we're just looking ahead.
All right.
Did we turn in,
Did,
can we turn that into insurance?
I think we should.
Absolutely think we should.
oh yeah, return insurance, but
I
I
think we need to at least try.
was gonna say, you can tell them why you're asking for this $2,000 for the pull behind sweeper.
Oh, yeah. What, did you learn anything? You go ahead with that one.
As far as I know, it's going up for auction in August, so I know you like using it. County, we don't use it anymore, because we don't seal coat ourselves, we contract it out, so we really have no use for it. And you used it the last couple years, so.
So, right, when we get heavy leaves, heavy falls and stuff, or tree storm, we'll use this whole line sweeper with the self-propelled motor, go down the road with pickup, and it shoots everything off to the side, so Dustin doesn't have to make so many rounds to clean up the road. If I can do 3 rounds, he just has to do, once, so it's a more efficient, gets both of us sweep and get the job done.
Oh, it definitely is.
Is it going up for auction then, or?
Yeah, the highway department, we're putting it up for auction in August. With some other equipment.
So what I'm asking, I guess, is if it goes for under $2,000, that's all I wanna spend on it, hopefully push with 500. But, then I'd like permission to grab it, have Tracy grab it on auction myself or whatever.
I'd like to make a motion to give Dave $2,000 budget for this pull behind sweeper.
Second,
I was told August, so it might be September. Yeah,
well, you know, when it
Things
for
were-
sure goes up,
I can ask.
we're up, so,
Just so we can watch for it.
so we want.
Yep.
Yep.
Right, there's a motion and a second on the table to approve up to $2,000 to purchase a sweeper on auction from the county. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave, I miss our weekly update.
I know, I'm sorry. You know, I know Tracy was holding on to her, so I thought I kind of did one, and I thought, when Tracy and I talked about me doing one Friday before the meeting here, and, you know,
They are beneficial to us. I frequently get stopped on the street and they're like, hey, what's up with this? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, at least we have an idea.
Yeah, at least I read it on your list. I'm like, oh, yes, I know Vince is working on that. And otherwise I'm like, I don't know.
we'll try to keep it coming. It's, May and June are always our busiest months. We're just getting out of that now, so we should be able to do that.
The semi that always parks on 13th. Do we know who that belongs to? The one that's leaking oil so badly?
I heard he no longer works there, so that problem fixed
Oh,
itself.
okay. Someone snapped a picture of it and said, is this how the city's now seal coating our streets? And then they took a picture of all the oil that had been, you could tell every place that it had parked because it was just, I don't know how this semi has any oil in it because it
That the
a lot of oil.
truck that the handgun got stolen out of?
What?
When the kids went around taking change out of people's vehicles and other little stuff, is that the truck that the handgun got taken out of?
Didn't hear that, no. I don't know.
Were we doing something down on Ranchwood with Sheehan's? Recently?
Sheehan's is putting a new gas main from the main pipe south of town out by the soil service. We've hired a firm that they're coming in tomorrow. They worked with the city, myself, Tracy, to do a permit. This is what they're doing. They're establishing a looping system out in Ranchwood and continuing the new 4-inch paint up to where the city park is. So. A
Had
lot of
somebody
work
call.
involved. I was gonna spend all day locating my stuff, but it didn't happen, so I'll be busy tomorrow.
Thank you. Somebody had asked me about it the other day and I said,
And some will be trenched in, vibratory trench, and some will be bored. So you can't really give an answer how it's gonna be done, but no, their front yards aren't gonna get all revved up, so.
Okay.
That's what most people wanna know, they're digging in my front yard, no.
We also remember that,
You need to direct all those calls to Todd Sheehan. The city doesn't control that, the contractor does.
we also have to remind people that there's a right of way that's not just a curb, it's right of way probably 10 feet in off the curb, and it's actually the right of way.
I tell people 15, yeah.
But I mean, it depends on where you're at, but I mean, we just, as a council, need to understand that. Same thing going down alleys are not just the curb cut out, there's 20-foot right of way. So,
Anything further, Dave?
Good, thanks for listening to my problems.
Backtracking just a moment. I don't recall seeing the actual building permit for the baseball association. Did they give some plans or
Yes,
something?
they did.
Okay.
They sent in a building permit
Darren.
into Darren, and
Oh,
Darren
this
was
is Darren.
requesting,
Okay.
the engineer,
The
because
engineering.
he can't do a plan review on post and frame, he can only do it on a stick build. And so that's why he was requesting an engineer look at it, to do the review and sign off on it.
Well, does he even have to approve that then? If it's
That's
just a
right.
post and,
That's why I want the lawyer, why I believe the lawyer should chime in on it.
Okay.
Wasn't there a request for a fence that's on here?
When I was yes, they came in, but when I was talking to David, they didn't have the stuff filled out properly, and so it didn't actually end up on the agenda.
Well, we told him we wanted him to tell me how far he's off the property line, he couldn't do that. I said, "I can help you locate," and he was gonna contact me and it never developed.
Okay.
And Tracy just took it off, so I don't need to tell you anymore.
It's all good. Trust me, there's pins 3 spots. Between our 2 lots on the back line, they're there. I paid very big money for them to be there.
On my report, we've got, the water line, rural water line for the Nightmare All property. You wanna talk about that?
So, in past meetings, there was a request about getting an estimate as to how much it actually costs to put in the manhole with the valve and everything to make it compliant. So I finally got, Dave to put all the pieces together and kind of give us an estimate as to how much it would be. And then the information that he was able to find out from MDH about if the backflow preventer would be needed or required by them or not.
I guess I would like to comment on that too. I did pop the other rural manholes that I could. Young Krantz out here, he's got a double check valve. Jeff Wolfel's got a double check valve. North of town, the Hennon property, old Gordy Hoffman's got a RPZ valve in, and I couldn't get the Broke options open to remember, but I think that's a double check valve as well too. You know, so at the very least, I would like to see a double check valve in the deal. I think that's gonna cover what, Minnesota Department of Health has suggested, and I think it keeps everybody on that.
So we did get with them and they did suggest that there should be something, because that was a question we asked last time.
They did not suggest anything specific. All they would do is give you the hand. If that answers your question,
Yes. I thought we voted on to make this right a couple of months ago. And I'm not sure why. I thought we did. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought we did.
I thought
We
we did
voted
too.
on
The city to take
To
it
take-
over.
take it over, and then we were going to, the cost estimates on putting the different pieces. We had requested an estimate on that to vote on that part.
Okay, so have we taken the line over?
I have gotten the letter from, the property owners, or not, the property owners that are being serviced by the line. And I sent that to the railroad company and our lawyer. And then the lawyer said that because that portion of the line is actually on the Lingo farmland, we need to get an agreement with the Lingo's family for that portion of it. And so I've been working on that and trying to get that piece done.
Well, I guess my only comment is the same comment I think I had before was is that if we have a rule and ordinance in place or something, so this is a we need to do with we own it or something else, but I think we're obligated to do this.
So didn't we say that unless we could get a letter?
From
That
the DAC, we didn't need it.
saying that we didn't need it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, will we get that letter?
No.
Well,
Doesn't sound
No.
like it.
then we're back to doing what we need to do.
And we need to do this before it gets to be frozen up. I think we need to get it done.
Okay, so then, property owner needs to make available space to where we're gonna put it. You have to identify that with on property first, where to put it.
And I don't know if we have a choice. We have an ordinance in place that says we need to do this. Every other place that reads how we do this. I don't know that we have any other choice in my opinion.
We didn't go where the connection itself is.
No, it needs to be on your property.
On whose property? I'm sorry.
It's where these are city, is that true, Dave? Because
If
don't we
you
have
can
it?
convince MinDOT to let you have a manhole on their property, good luck with that
Yeah,
one.
good luck on that. I see your point, Dave. You need to do it right, but not, we could do it in the, like you said, right in the field, coach, right, yeah.
There's no actual field function.
Well, I mean,
But in there,
Yeah, that'll be 50 foot off the road. They have to be farmed over and not farm around it.
That'll be unpopular.
You know, and that's why it's just so easy to just turn it back to the old one and everything's done. You know, really.
Well,
But then we're not adhering to the ordinance.
Yes, we are,
We are.
100%. Everything's in place. If we're taking over the line, then we're paying our $1,200 fee, one-time fee,
All right?
and all we have to do is just let it come back. It's already metered, it's already RPC valve in there.
There is an RPC valve in there.
yeah, on the other side,
On the north side of the
the
track.
north side, yes.
It's full of water right now, so it's not operable. It needs to be maintained by the owner. And then what that would happen, then the Nibauer and all property would be the last service. The water goes all the way to town, goes all the way back out to the bean plant, and their line would be the last service. But
So our rural
somebody's
customers,
last, right now Jeff Wolf's last.
our rural customers, are they gonna see any degradation of their service? Or pressure
Well,
or
that's something
volume?
that has to be monitored, and I think there's no better deal than having our city administrator monitor the last person on the water and the quality. I really don't, and it just would save all this money, so. It's up to you guys.
Well, it's not about saving the money, it's about doing what we have on our ordinance, that's my only issue with it. And to make sure that we're not meeting the requirements of the state and NDH, that was my whole issue with it.
I just need to make sure that the Nibauers and Tracy get good water by having to flush that line more often, you know. That could be accomplished. The first comments when Nibauers got it right off of that line was the kids had a chlorine rash out of the bathtub. So, too much chlorine is not good either. So you either get to be the first one or the last one, depending upon how you do it. Jeff Wolfel is the last person out there right now on our system. It goes all the way to town, comes all the way back out to Jeff, and Jeff has never had a water quality issue out there.
Yeah, that goes out another way,
Yeah.
that goes across the field by Tommy Smith, or by, right?
By Ranch,
Right.
Ian Young Cranch here.
I have to be honest, I'm a little confused. I'm hearing you say we're not adhering, and I'm hearing you're saying we're adhering.
Well,
So
that's, I'm confused too, because I thought we weren't hearing.
if we're adhering, we don't need to spend the money. But I thought we were not adhering.
That's right, I thought too.
When we blew the fire hydrant off behind the bean plant,
Yes?
I had to kill the line in the back of the bean plant.
All right?
So the line was shut off from Pine Avenue, the Don Henslin shed, all the way out to the water plant.
All right?
That thing was shut off for a week. Only way to supply Nibauer and all was to turn them on this provisional thing that we put in. We turned 2 curb stops, they got water.
Mhm.
I just haven't turned them back the way they were.
I did not understand. So is that line fixed now?
It was never broken. Oh, yeah, the bean plant has not wanted not asked for the hydrant to be put back in place that was blew off. Because we've got a hydrant right south of Highway 212 there, so the technically it's not covered. So, yes, the line is charged, it's energized, there's a hydrant, Sheen's bulk plant as well. And, how I flush those out is I would use Sheen's bulk plant hydrant plus the hydrant that's out at the water plant facility.
Well, I guess I did not know that, but if that's the case, if we can turn it back to where it was originally, and that's what they actually paid for,
Jeff, because I just wanna do a quick drawing. Well, as a matter of fact,
I understand.
you do. So,
Yeah.
so the new 8-inch main was there, the old line came across the road, went like this. Well, all I did is interrupted it, and I grabbed the feed. I grabbed the feed line off of here, and I put one curb stop here and one curb stop
Turn it
there.
backwards so you can.
That's exactly what it is. And
But-
there's a third one to turn that on and
But
off.
see, when we first started talking about this way back 4 months ago, it was, you wanted to keep that line in place because it benefits us. That was my
Then I
issue.
can feed it backwards or forward in the event that this old 50-year-old water main would ever fail. I could supply water from the south side of the tracks to the bean plant and everybody would be happy, except we lose the hydrant at the LP gas station, but there's one across the, and we again add to the Jaybird sales. Yeah.
Again, if the ordinance says that we're supposed to be doing something, we're not meeting it, I don't think we're doing ourselves any good by not meeting our own ordinance.
Well,
But we have a way of fixing it without,
and I can flush the hydrant, turn it back tomorrow. I mean, it's that simple.
guess we can figure out from the people that buy our rural water whether or not that it affects anything or not.
So then my question, I guess, is, you know, if the property owner said they want to abandon the line in between the old connection, new connection, then who technically at this point then would own that portion and would have to then go back to the railroad and that whole thing?
You lost me there, Tracy. If that's your service line, why would you abandon it?
That's where I'm going with, so then who technically would own the
The ci-
portion
the
in
city.
between the two
The city owns
lines?
it, yeah.
The city.
Okay,
And then you guys would escape your 3-year lease and we'd have a one-time payment.
yeah, I was just confused as to how all of that was still working or what.
But does the connection meet the city's ordinance on?
The old connection does, the new connection that was put in does not,
And that's been the
is
whole
my
issue.
understanding, yes.
Well, then I think we should put it back the old way and see if there's any issues with the people out there.
I concur.
This is the first I've heard of this, though, that we could do that.
I haven't understood it, to be honest, that we could go back to, we can go back to it, then let's try that, and
See if it did, if there's any issues.
who'll be the first that will notice? Will be somebody in this room, okay? So we can address it next
Exactly.
month if we have a problem.
If there are issues, then we readjust what we're
And then it could be, it's,
It's-
you turn back and go back to the drawing board.
And then we'll go get some pricing and get, so that we can, okay.
At least we ever have a problem with that line, at least we have a temporary fix to keep that in line.
You know, the issue was always ownership, you know, if we own it, we paid a one-time fee, if they own it, it was multiple year fees.
Right, and when we first talked about it was benefit to us to own it, so I thought it was a smart thing to own it, but then we'd be feeding them off the other line.
I understood that there was some upgrading we needed to do to have the city own it, according to our city ordinance.
All that,
What is it, 2 inch?
it's 2 inch.
That's still, that would be the minimum.
Okay.
Okay. I think we should turn it, I think we should put it back on, after you flush it, I think you should turn it back on, and see.
Then I'll get, I will pump that out for you guys. I get, who's gonna be in charge of that, then 5 hours still, get Mark out there now and say, hey, that's what you're supposed to do to maintain this. Yeah, it's all private, it's private ownership.
So that's where you're losing me, why I was questioning.
Well, to pump the line is that's private.
What, the,
Not-
The RPC
not pump
knows.
The
line,
RP, yeah.
The
pump the
RPM
manhole.
tells us the 9-bar all, that's what he's saying. That pit is actually part of your line that you paid for. Well, it's not you, but
that was paid for,
originally, yes.
originally paid for. So then,
I'm gonna take you on a tour tomorrow, show you.
no,
everybody
I'm
else's.
just trying to, okay, yeah, just trying to figure, okay, like maintenance issue, you know, was it the city or is it the homeowners, whatever, if there was an issue at what point in that line?
Our
Is it then-
ordinance calls out that that's all the private parties' responsibility.
So would it be from the old connection or the new connection?
You'll-
From the old connection. So then technically what the owners.
That's gonna be the
Okay,
thing, is we're
railroad.
taking it over.
So are you actually taking it over or not, or?
Oh, I see your point.
That doesn't.
Right.
Oh, that's where the confusion was, Jeffrey. Now I see it plain as day.
Mhm.
That's why there's all that confusion and
Mhm.
who technically owns what and who's responsible for what portion.
Well, I say then, we recognize that we own the ownership from the old line to the first curb stop that we've installed, and after that it's Tracy's. That sound fair?
Okay, do you still need someone out there then?
Well, you guys need to maintain, when I open up the, stand full of water, and typically a pump down and fall, if they can operate properly. Your RPZ valve to function, if there's a problem, it's gotta naturally aspirate the air. If there's water, then it can't do it. So.
Well, let's
Okay.
start with if the water's good or not.
Yeah.
We'll know that fairly quickly, right?
Oh, yeah. And again, the bean plant is fine.
Okay.
Gene's buck plant is fine, so we just gotta get a couple more 100 feet. We're good.
Okay. Moving on to possible adoption of ordinance 225. Regulating the use of shipping containers, storage containers.
So I did send this ordinance over to the draft of this ordinance that you guys all have to the sheriff's department. And I did not hear anything back from them at all on it, one way or another. I also would, ask them about the golf carts stuff too, but I haven't heard much of anything from
I think we
anyone
should
over
table
there.
it until next month, then, until they have an opportunity to weigh in.
Comment, yeah.
That's all right with everyone else.
I'll second that one.
I'd hate to enact it and then have to repeal it right away. if it's been-
Yep.
Okay. So repealed. Hazardous building, 750 Ash Avenue.
So that was the old Union property. A while back, I had gotten an email from the attorney, because we had scheduled to abate it, and then they went to court, I believe it was in January, and the judge decided to give, the new property owner 6 months to make the upgrades and everything else. In the beginning of May, he finally had gotten, so that was in January, beginning of May, he finally came in and actually got a building permit, and he's been in talks with, Darren, but he hasn't really, I don't know if he's actually completed anything, so he did finally get a structural engineer, and paid the money for that, and then he did eventually come in and actually pay for the building permit for just the north wall to fix that up. The lawyer's question was more or less, how does the city want to proceed, because he is past his 6 months that he originally was given. And at the time, I had talked to Darren, and Darren, he didn't have his building permit to the new property owner, but he had it approved and ready to go. So Darren's thought was, okay, let's give him an opportunity to come and pay for the building permit and to get started on the project and see if he actually does any of the work and stuff, since he's paid for the structural engineer, and see if he actually does come in and pay for the building permit, which he has done both. But I guess my question then to the council is, since he has actually passed the 6 months that he was given from the judge, is how much longer do we want to let it get stretched out?
I'd
Or
like to see
do you have any thoughts one way or another? But
I'd like to
that's
see the garbage pile that's laying on the ground behind it picked up.
Yes,
It's been
I
there for 4 months.
thought that same thing is.
That's your garage behind?
Hmm?
That's your garage behind there?
Well, my garage is I own the property 2 properties down, but I mean, but our family property right in front of it, that's sitting there with this big garbage pile off that building that's sitting there. I just can't believe that we're leaving that sit there.
I don't recall who purchased that. They're from out of the area, correct?
I believe that he is from Renville. A gentleman from Renville.
Was that property cited as a nuisance?
It was originally, it was supposed to be coming down and right at the last minute it was tax forfeited,
Yep.
the close, and then, so there was the hearing to get it to come down, and then he showed up to contest it, and that was in January, and the judge decided to give him 6 months to bring it to court. So it was originally scheduled to,
So I don't know that I mean, I think we should take it to the judge, let the judge say if he's gonna allow him to keep going or not, because he's defying the judge's order.
right, so have the attorney
That'd be my
proceed.
position. Let the judge decide.
If he if he cleaned it up back there and fixed it in the next month before our next council meeting, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it, but but part of the covenant would be you have to clean up the mess. Whatever that looks like, I don't know, but,
Just drive by, see it.
sounds like it's out
So
there.
do you know what his intent is? Is this
Yeah,
project to be completed this fall before the snow flies?
Based on what I've heard from the building inspector, now I haven't had very many discussions with him at all myself. It sounds like he's changed his plan multiple times on what he's actually going to use the building for. So I don't really know, I don't know if anyone really has a good understanding of what he's gonna do with it.
Again, this is my opinion, but I think no matter what, we need to, at least the judge weigh in whether, if they push it back to us to say we can extend it or not. I mean, he's defying a judge's order at this point.
So I can have the attorney kind of move along
Okay.
and kind of let me know
For at
what the
least-
status is.
You're gonna have to give him till fall.
No,
If
we've
he was
been doing
already-
this with too many buildings, we need.
No, I know, and I think if we just allow him to just do it at his own time, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
And I don't know that we wanna go another winter and have rodents and,
Well, and that thing's been raining now, I mean, it's wide open on the backside, everything, so it's, I mean, it can't be any better than it was before, I guarantee you that. So, I still think the judge he already weighed in on it, so I think he should be involved with it.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And if the judge kicks it back to us, if he does,
And then
do we just tell him, clean up the mess immediately and have it finished by
it's a council decision.
before the next, do we wait for another month?
I think that wall at least has to be repaired and so that it's a secure structure before winter.
Well, I don't know,
How
last
about the
time
next month? Probably won't find a contractor, but he's already had 6 months, right?
And he's had the building permit
He's already had,
for over a month.
yeah, so,
And
I
I
don't think we have
don't
to
know,
give him very
without
much
talking to him, we
time.
don't, maybe his issue is finding a contractor,
But you should tell us that.
right? So. Okay,
okay.
is there anything further council wishes to?
Yeah.
Talk about it this time? No,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
denied.
I have a piece of paper like that too.
Don't touch it. If you touch it, then it means you accepted it.
No, yeah, it did touch me.
I need to present that letter, Julie, to you.
Second on the motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Pretty sure I know what this is. Everybody read it out loud?
It's your call, you.
Councilman Engelmann, effective September 1st, 2023, is resigning his position on the city council of Bird Island. He states, "I've served the town and the people of Bird Island, both on the EDA and the city council for almost 20 years, and I believe it is time that another take my place. I've thought long and hard about this, but I do believe it is best for me and my family." Councilman Engelmann.
What day?
September 1st.
24?
Yeah, I think that's a typo there, Jeff.
I don't think you've got the year, so I had to clarify.
And the council does need to address that then, because the council will need to appoint someone to fill the seat. So that will need to be a discussion. And as such, we only have the 2 months to do so then. Unless anyone has powers of persuasion.
You need to talk to my better half, probably.
Well, she doesn't have a vote.
She has to vote in my opinion.
But you will be a wealth of knowledge that we will sorely miss. That is
I'm
for
gonna be in
sure.
town, so.
You plan to attend every meeting, you might as well stay on the council then.
I didn't say that.
All right, that will be a discussion. I'm sorry to accept this, Jeff.
I don't think it's on the agenda, I don't know.
Okay, we can take it back. We can give you less time next time. That's what we'll do.
All right.
I don't think this is a surprise.
It's not. I just kept hoping that
Uh-huh.
change your mind, so. All right, nothing further. This meeting is officially adjourned.